This is 5.5a of Algebra. So before we've talked about the Y-intercept, and that's on a graph where the line crosses the Y-axis. So the Y-intercept is where it crosses the Y-axis. Now we've got the X-intercept, and that's where it crosses the X-axis. So here we've got our X-intercept, and here we've got our Y-intercept. And when we're looking at our Y-intercept, that's when X is 0. Right here is where X is 0. And when we're looking at our X-intercept, that's when Y is 0, right there. So Y equals 0. Okay, standard form. So we've looked at a couple different forms of equations. Here's another one. That's where we get our X and our Y on one side, and we get our number on the other side. So here are some equations that are in standard form. And we're going to figure out what are the X-intercepts and the Y-intercepts. So remember, our X-intercept is when Y equals 0. And our Y-intercept is when X equals 0. So the first one I'm going to do is for my X-intercept. And I'm going to plug in Y equals 0. So I've got 5x minus 6. I'm going to plug in 0 for y equals 60. 6 times 0 is just 0, right? So then we're subtracting 0. 5x minus 0 equals 60. So that's just 5x equals 60. And if we divide both sides by 5, we get that x is equal to 12. So our x-intercept is at 12. And then I'm going to do my y-intercept. And that's when x is 0. So this time I've got 5 times x. Oh, excuse me. Instead of our x, we're going to plug in a 0. So 5 times 0 minus 6y equals 60. 5 times 0 is just 0. This is 0 minus 6y equals 60. So this is negative 6y equals 60. I'll divide both sides by negative 6. And I get that y is equal to negative 10. So this means our y-intercept is negative 10 and our x-intercept is 12. So roughly sketched on a graph, we're looking for something like that. Okay, let's do another one of those. So my x-intercept, let's see if I have enough room over here. My x-intercept is when y is equal to 0. So 3x plus 8 times 0 equals 12. So that's 3x plus 0 equals 12. So 3x is equal to 12, and when I divide both sides by 3, I get that x equals 4. And then I'll find my y-intercept, and that's when x is 0. So 3 times 0 plus 8y equals 12. That's 0 plus 8y equals 12. So 8y is equal to 12, and I'll divide both sides by 8. And I get that y is equal to 1.5. So if we want to picture this on a graph, we're looking for something like that. So now let's actually take an equation and actually graph it instead of just sketching it. So I've got this equation down here, 2x plus 5y equals 20. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to figure out what my x-intercept is and my y-intercept is. So my x-intercept is when y equals 0. So I'm going to have 2x plus 5 times 0 equals 20. 2x plus 0 equals 20. So that's 2x equals 20. And if I divide by 2, I get that x equals 10. So my x-intercept is at 10. So I'm going to look here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right here, I'm going to put a point. And then I'm going to find my y-intercept. And that's when x is equal to 0. So this is going to be 2 times 0 plus 5y equals 20. That's 0 plus 5y equals 20. which is just 5y equals 20. Divide both sides by 5, and I get that y equals 4. So my y-intercept is at 4. So I'm going to put a dot at 4 on my y-axis. And then I'm going to connect these. And there's what my line would look like. Okay, and then we're going to look at graphing horizontal and vertical lines. So what they want you to do is they want you to calculate they want you to put it into standard form and then graph it. I'm going to tell you an easier way to graph it. If it has an x, if it's an x equals, you're going to be crossing the x-axis. If it's a y equals, you're going to be crossing the y-axis. So let's look at our first equation. X equals 4. So we're going to cross our x-axis, this guy right here. And we're going to cross it at 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then, so I just make an up and down line there. Oh, maybe we should change the color for that. There is x equals 4. So here we got another x equals. So I'm going to go to my x-axis, put a dot at -1, and draw a line through that. Now I've got a y equals. So I'm going to look at my y-axis, and I'm going to put a point at 0. That just so happens to be the origin. And then I'm going to make a sideways line through it. So it's going to go right over my x-axis. And then I've got